Hey there! Have you ever wondered why the housing market is so crazy these days and what drives it? How about the factors that impact prices and inventory? Is there a housing bubble coming? Excuse me, is there a housing bubble and will it come down soon? Should you buy now or is there a cooling down coming? Well, we'll talk about this subject and answer your questions on this edition of the VA Mortgage Minute brought to you by the Veterans Lending Group. Hi, I'm David Carter, National Director of Education for Veterans Lending Group and a U.S. Navy retiree.
Hey guys, my name's Lee Wynn. I'm a loan officer and a national educator for Veterans Lending Group and a U.S. Navy veteran myself. We're gonna be talking about all that good stuff. But we have data that suggests that there's not a bubble and you should buy now. Just to kind of give you guys an idea, a lot of people compare this to about the 2006 housing market crash. And that they're concerned that there is a bubble coming. Just kind of give you guys an idea and kind of a small idea of how that worked was in 2006, it's a simple supply and demand model. So if you think about it, if there's too much supply of something, the cost of that item goes down. That's exactly what happened in 2006. There were too many homes for how many people were looking to buy. Give you an idea, about 3.5 million homes available, only 1 million people looking to buy, or 1.5 million. So drives costs down. A lot of people didn't want to lose money on building those houses, so they did a lot of bad things they shouldn't have done, basically, right? Now it's the opposite. Right now there's about 1 million inventory of homes, about 12 million buyers. So Thanos would have to snap like 2 or 3 more times for the housing to match the population looking to buy. So really it's the demand. As more and more people enter the market, the more there's demand, the more prices are driven up. In the next 3 to 4 years, there's expected about 32 million people to enter the housing market. So should you buy now? I would recommend it because you will only have more equity or more value in your house by the time you sell the house.
Hey, Lee, going back to that 2006 timeframe too, do you think it's important to discuss some of the things that happened after that? Because that 2008 crash of the bubble caused a lot of things to be put into play, both at the federal level and state level, protection. Is that an important thing to add to the equation? Because that'll keep kind of some of that from happening again.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's a lot, just as you said, there's a lot of unethical things happening. And what's funny is that when that stuff was happening was the same time they were installing all these protection measures. They actually put standards into basically the same time everything was crashing down. To give you guys an idea, loan officers didn't really have to be licensed until about 2008, which is when the housing market crashed. They're like, whoa, we should probably get people licensed and drive out some of, put it like a standard, minimum of standard of people entering this workplace and to become a loan officer and a lending professional. So, and then they installed a bunch of rules, basically mortgage financial police involved, even the FBI, and other entities to get involved to basically say, to basically reinforce about good ethical practices, basically.
Having just recently gone through the licensing process myself, there's a lot built into that to protect the buyer, to protect the consumer, to make sure that as loan officers are acting in ethical behaviors and doing the right thing. So it's a good thing we built that in there. Now, something else I was just thinking about, and I don't know if we've had this discussion before, but I've heard it before. Also, the age group of people that are buying nowadays tends to also drive some of the market. Was that a conversation we were having, or is that something you get some information on?
I think so. So there's this mortgage guy I follow, and his name's Habib. He basically predicted the 2006 housing market crash before it even happened. Basically, what he figured out was the median home buyer is about 33 years old. Okay, so if you took 2006, 2008, go 33 years back, right? Well, that puts us in the late 70s. Well, what happened in the late 70s to cause birth rates to be so low for all the 33 years old to not have so many home buyers in 2006, 2008, really 2005-ish is when it all started. Well, the thing is that abortion was made legal back then. So there was a huge dip in birth rates back then, and those people who were born that year, 33 years later, the people who entered the market as first-time homebuyers, there wasn't a lot. So what was happening through the early 2000s and even the late 90s, builders were building like crazy. They were just building because they were expecting all these people to buy. Well, they didn't. It wasn't accounted for that there was this huge drop in birth rates in the late 70s, and then if the people who turned 33 years old that time are now entering the market, it wasn't a lot.
Yeah.
In the next, after that, house birth rates had gone up quite a bit. In the next 3 to 5 years, it's going to be at the highest it's ever been since the late 70s. So in the next 3 to 5 years, we're going to have, and that's how it accounts to those 32 million of buyers entering the market, which is my age range. So basically, in the next 3 to 5 years, the people who are turning 33, basically the early 30s, we're going to have a lot more home buyers in the next 35 years.
I think that the age difference is different. Well, people are buying houses later in life than they used to too. So, and then that impacts supply and demand because it used to be a domino effect rolling on down. Now, part of that domino effect stops in the middle because of the age group that's now buying. So, there's a lot of interesting factors that I think is the important
absolutely.
point that go into why the market's doing what it's doing, and it's not just economy driven, it's societally driven. It's all it's an interesting study if anybody out there wants to dig into it. But yeah, Barry's a great guy to follow, and I've listened to a couple of his reports, and he's super smart in this stuff. So anybody out there who wants to learn more about the industry, the market, Barry is a really good guy to follow if you want to get up to speed. All right. Well, let's see. I think we have time for a few questions. So let's see what we got in the chat box there. All right, Lee, rapid fire. All right. How many times can I use my VA home loan?
As many times as you have available. So not a limit on how many times you can use it. It's just based on how much you have left.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's the your entitlement, whether or not you have, and of course how much money you got. I keep telling people at the classes we do, how many VA loans can you have? How many can you afford? Right? That's kind of the important thing. Okay. Next question. Should you buy now? Oh, you already asked that one. Let's see. How do I qualify to use my VA home loan? That's a good one.
Oh yeah. So first one, you got to make sure you're eligible to use the VA home loan. So that's how we verify your certificate of eligibility. We do that for you. And then the next thing is, as far as qualifying, we just take a look at your credit, your income, your assets. Those are the three basic things. A few other minor details as well, and see how much you can afford based on your buying power. So your buying power is based on your income and your debts. And
I think it's also important to note that at Veterans Lending Group, we don't have minimum credit scores. We follow the VA guidelines, and so we're able to provide some more flexibility in there, whereas some other lenders may have those overlays that we've talked about before and require certain credit scores. So if you go to somebody who tells you you need a specific credit score to qualify, come talk to us. Maybe we can do something for you. All right.
I think our team record's 507, I think.
That's the lowest you've done? 507 on the record?
I think that was our as like a Veterans Lending Group thing. I think it's a record. I think it's Tony Dayton who did 507.
Okay, and I think we have time for at least one more. Do I have to pay closing costs?
Do I have to pay closing costs? So you will have closing costs as a buyer, but there are multiple ways to get it paid for. So you just have to get with your VA specialist to kind of figure out what the strategy is. But the easiest way to get to handle that is to pay your own closing costs. So, but there's ways to kind of strategize, if so to speak, and to get those paid for.
Okay. One more. We got time for one more. What is a pre-approval, and why should I get one?
Oh, that's a good one. So a pre-approval basically verifies that you can buy a house and afford the house for the next 30 years. Keep in mind, I know it sounds scary. You're going to 30 years of debt for the 30 years of debt, a six-figure loan, right? So we have to verify your finances. Obviously, we don't want to repeat what happened in 2006, 2008, and make sure that you can afford the house for the next 30 years. So the reason why you want to get one is, one, it gives you the peace of mind that you can afford and there's nothing stopping you from buying a house. And two, it gives everyone that's working with you the peace of mind that you can buy a house. Because this is a negotiation. There is an other half of this transaction which is the seller, who are also looking to kind of do some things with their lives and move on, right? So it's an overall peace of mind for literally everybody. So it gives you, and some people aren't willing to accept your offer unless you have a pre-approval. So it's pretty much a standard in this industry now if you're looking to buy a house, but it's extremely important. It basically verifies your wallet before you go shopping.
Outstanding. Well, all right. We're running out of time for today, but I just wanted to leave you with the fact that we do have a lot of educational opportunities, because we've seen that there is a lack of information out there about not only the mortgage industry in general, but especially the VA home loan benefit for our military and veteran personnel. So check us out at vahomeloanbootcamp.com. Take a look at our education opportunities there. We also look at our calendar. We may be teaching a class near you, and would be glad to do so. All that stuff out there is free to you. And if you have any questions, you can always contact us, because we're here to help. So that's all the time we have today. On behalf of Lee and myself, thank you for joining us for today's VA Mortgage Minute presented by the Veterans Lending Group. And we'll look forward